That's right, auntie. No artificial colors or flavors, strictly the real. And ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Never be ashamed of your legacy. Never be ashamed of where you came from. And never, ever, ever be afraid of where you can possibly go. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. And sometimes we need a reminder. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. Let's talk about this Black Panther thing. You guys know I've talked about this probably a few times over the last few years or a couple of years, whatever. Ever since they made the announcement that they will not be recasting the character of T'Challa, who is indeed Black Panther in the MCU, I have voiced my opinion that I feel that this is a mistake, okay? But you know, because of the untimely and tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, a lot of people feel like this is a way somehow to pay tribute to the greatness that was Chadwick Boseman by squashing everything that he worked for, by saying that even though this man went around and saw how this character has changed the lives of young children everywhere, not black children, not white children, but children all over the place, all inclusive. It was a beautiful thing, and he got to witness that. He got to be proud of that. But for some reason, we have convinced ourselves that ending the character is something that pays tribute to him. Now, I am only going to say this one time in this video, that I have great respect for Chadwick Boseman and his body of work, okay? However, we need to talk real about this, okay? Because these people are being over emotional about this. And my observation here, and this is where I'm going to piss some people off, but I give not one fuck. I feel like this is an example and a statement of where we are as black people, where we can't value our own legacy and see the importance of it to the point where we understand how to solidify and create modern myths and heroes that will endure and last throughout the ages, you know, for future generations to hold on to. And this is the observation that I made when I was watching Black Panther in the movie, and I saw a whole bunch of normies come in, you know, because they see the whole Black Panther thing. They're proud of it, and that's good, but they claimed it outside of the context of the legacy of the actual character and the comic and the source material. They wanted it to be a movement and a statement in this Black Lives Matter era, but they didn't understand that this is actually a character that has endured for decades and needs to be brought up. You know, so it was exciting to see that the character was brought up and it was appreciated by general audiences and shit like that. But they wanted to make it a moment, you know what I mean? And that's the reason why we have what we have now, where they feel like, no, we can't go on. Chadwick, oh my God, Chadwick, there's no going on without Chadwick. You know what I mean? It was, my heart will go on type stuff. You know what I mean? Like they just wanted, that was it. You know, there was just no going on without Chadwick. You know, we'll always remember you. I will always love you. Like he's gone or something, you know what I mean? But they don't understand, like, the actual, the actual process of establishing a legacy and a legacy character. And so we have Vice President of Production and Development Nate Moore explaining how there will be no more T'Challa as Black Panther as some type of fucking twisted tribute to Chadwick Boseman. Okay, so let's listen to what MCU Vice President of Production and Development Nate Moore had to say. All right, listen up, guys.
What are the chances we see the character of T'Challa in the MCU moving forward? And what is it like having to balance loyalty to a fan base and to a performer as regal and elegant as Chadwick Boseman?
All right, let's just stop for a minute here. Loyalty to a fan base that's devoted to an actor as regal as Chadwick Boseman. All right. What kind of fan base are you when you want to actually see the character ended? That's no fan base. And that's what I was talking about before. we're used to, I guess, we're too used to martyrs, I think, in the black community. All right. We loved our pictures of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and shit like that, but we don't know how to raise up another generation of leaders. So we stay stuck on the same fucking leaders that I love so much. But where's your vision when you can't see past a martyr, somebody who is gone? And you really think that these people who have passed away, that they're gone, you really think these people want everything that they stood for to die with them and to be twisted into something that they never stood for? Now, I didn't know any of these people personally. I certainly didn't know Chadwick Boseman personally. But if he's the man that I hoped that he was, he would want to see his legacy go on. He would want to see everything that he worked for to continue. I know, like, for me, everything that I am, everything that I tried to be, I tried to pass on to my son, and I hope he would pass on to whatever, kids he has, or even my friends that I talk to. I hope that they get me enough to try to take in some of who I am into maybe who they are, so that it lives on. You know what I mean? What kind of person says, you know what, I did a really good job here. Once I'm gone, no more. That's it. No more. I don't want anything more. It reminds me of those old civilizations where when the man died, they say that the woman had to jump in the grave with him and be buried alive because there was just no more after them. That's what we're talking about here. Think about this, guys, but going on.
Yeah. Along with the future of that franchise, that character, and of Wakanda.
Yeah. It's a great question. I will say the chances that you see...
This is Nate Moore talking, by the way. He was just asked a question, but this is MCU Vice President of Production and Development, Nate Moore, giving the answer. All right, listen up.
T'Challa in our... I'm not hedging my bets. I'm being quite honest. T'Challa is... You will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe. We couldn't do it. I mean, I will say when Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler about what do we do, and it was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks, it was minutes of we have to figure out how to move.
Okay, he just said we had a real conversation. It was a deep conversation, but it was a quick conversation. It only lasted minutes, not weeks. It was quick. Now, if you had a real conversation, you couldn't possibly, especially if it was fast, you couldn't possibly have addressed the cultural impact that this character has had, since they dropped the character. No conversation, no quick conversation could possibly consider my son, could possibly consider all of the young boys, all of the young girls, all of the children around the world who would love to see this character go on. Okay, yes, I understand that Chadwick Boseman did a great job. I understand that Chadwick Boseman is easily identifiable as T'Challa and Black Panther. I understand that. But keep in mind, guys, we are anticipating a Spider-Man movie where we're going to see 3 actors simultaneously on stage who played an iconic character, and they all have their fan bases. There are some people who love Tobey Maguire as the best, as I do. There are some people who love Andrew Garfield as the best, as my brother Abu Nas does, and then there are some people, for some god-awful reason, who actually love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and they're welcome to it, but the fact of the matter is that they are welcoming them because they understand legacy. They understand the contribution that each of these actors made to the characters. The same thing with Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is about to pick up the Batman mantle again in a year where we know that we're going to be having Robert Pattinson, where we're going to be having Ben Affleck. People understand this. Why don't we understand it in the black community? Why? Because and I'm going to go on and say it, guys. I know, I don't give a fuck. We are a society or a community that is matriarchal, all right, in nature, okay? So men don't value themselves. They're not raised to value themselves, to think that we could possibly have somebody who could do as good or even better. That would be a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, somebody who picks it up and says, you know what, I'm going to make you proud, Chadwick. You don't think that there's a young black man somewhere who would love to honor Chadwick Boseman and take the character further? and also honor the source material? You don't think somebody deserves a shot like that? No, of course we don't, because we're so busy always discarding black men in our society. All right, we're disposable. And that's what this betrays. These people who are cheering for this, these people who think that Chadwick Boseman or the character, of T'Challa should no longer be continued. You are bitch made. Yes, I'm saying that. You're bitch made because you don't believe in your own self to be able to produce anything as good or better. And some fucking how you think that this is paying tribute to a great man and a talented actor such as Chadwick Boseman. All right, let's go on to see what else this guy has to say.
Move this franchise on without that character, because I think we all feel so much of T'Challa in the...
I mean, listen to the guy. He even sounds like a woman. I think we all feel. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Man the fuck up. All right, go on.
MCU on the screen, not in comics, right? Is tied to Chadwick's performance. Is what he brought to that role, both on and off screen, I would argue. So as hard as it is narratively to figure out what to do, because it's a big hole, at no point did we consider recasting him.
Something tells... Okay.
So
okay, what the fuck is he actually saying here? He first starts off by saying we had a real conversation. And then he just now said, at no point did we consider recasting. At no point that we consider giving somebody else a shot. You guys, do you see this as being reasonable? Do you see this as, being a way to actually honor somebody by completely disregarding everything you did for the rest of your tenure? Whatever it is. Like, I'm sure T'Challa will live again. You know what I mean? But these kids are only kids for a short amount of time. Like I said, I will never forget, like, I know that it's in fashion to fucking bash the MCU, but I'll never forget when we were watching Black Panther and my son tugged on my arm. He was a lot younger then, time goes by so fast. He tugs on my arm and he says, Dad, after we leave here, can we go to the store to get an action figure? Shit, I'm getting emotional thinking about it because I felt the way that he was being moved at that moment. He wanted the action figure because he was connecting. And he was connecting in a way that was beyond racial. He was connecting to the character. The character, man. The character deserves to go on. That's what I'm saying. A true character. A real depiction of the character. Not the skin, okay? Not the actor, but the character. When Chadwick was playing him, he was trying to get in touch with the character because he's a real actor. We've seen him in other things. You know what I mean? So... the character that he created, in my opinion, deserves to be upheld. I don't understand how people cannot see this. Moving forward real quick.
So the challenge for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is telling a story without T'Challa. And I think it's a challenge we're up for, and obviously we're in the middle of it and we're figuring it out, and it's so far I think what we're getting is great. But the challenge of the movie, I think, is to entertain people. But there will be a level of, I think, catharsis in people coming back to this universe without that guy. Because that guy and that universe, to me, are one and the same.
Really? That guy. That king. How about that? He was a king. That king. Unless you're talking about Chadwick, okay? But he's even saying that coming back to that universe without... and I'm assuming he's talking about the character, but he could be talking about Chadwick. I mean, either way, guys, this is inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I remember back then I called it Wakanda. They just turned it into just another welfare state. They took the man out, just like they did back in the day when they were establishing welfare. We see how well that has served the community, how well that has served black people by encouraging the absence of the black man in the home. I don't give a fuck how anybody, what they think about this, but it's the truth, all right? Young boys, young girls need their mothers and they need their fathers, all right? Don't let these people fool you guys, all right, who are out there. Don't let them fool you. Somebody accused me just yesterday of being off code. You're off code. Listen, man, fuck your code, okay? Fuck your code, all right? Your code hasn't done shit for you, All right, you need to challenge yourself to a new way of thinking and see what's going on here. Yes, it's just a it's just a character, it's just a comic, it's just a comic book movie. But we saw, and I've done the stories about how children celebrated the arrival of this particular character. Okay, so the video is going long. Let me just finish up what he's saying. It's just a little bit here.
So as filmmakers and storytellers, you have to figure out how people are going to feel going into your movie and what you want that movie to say about that guy who's not going to be in your movie.
Wow.
No other character, and that's the end of it, by the way. Wow, indeed. No other character has just straight up faced extinction this way, that had the potential to be iconic and had the potential to be enduring. You know, and when you're talking about a black character, it makes it even more important. You know, no other character has had this. We always knew we were going to get another Superman. We always knew we were going to get another Spider-Man. We always knew we were going to get another Hulk. We always knew we were going to get another Iron Man or Captain America. And don't make any mistake about it. Robert Downey Jr., you know, he embodied that character too. But you know the character is not going to just die, guys. All right, you know this. But Black Panther, for some reason, this is how they want to play it. Well, guys, he said that he wants to know how audiences feel. Well, this is one member of the audience that is telling you how I feel. Fuck this shit. And fuck you too, Nate Moore, if this is how you feel about it and everybody else. You know, because you're just not seeing it. You're just not understanding it. But for my part, I wanted to sound off and let you guys know once again how I feel about this. If you really want to honor somebody, you keep their legacy alive. You keep what they worked for alive. All right, they have no problem naming rec centers after fucking George Floyd and shit like that. You know what I mean? And keeping that alive, you know, even though, well, let me not get into that. All right. But when you talk about how to keep alive the legacy of something that is positive, something that really touches children and, you know, and shapes futures and shit like that, that's something you just don't play around with. But anyway, guys, you can get in the comment section. This video is going on long enough. I'm making long videos. I got to just start fucking streaming. But anyway, get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Catch me on Twitter. Catch me on Odyssey. I will be there. I'm going to start making more videos that you will find on Odyssey that you won't find on YouTube because fuck YouTube. They're a bunch of pussies. But anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you for listening. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.